All right, we are live. Let me turn my volume up so I don't forget to do that. There we go. Hey Adam, what's up? How you doing? I see in the comments there. Linux, how you doing? Sorry, Links. I don't know why I always want to call you Linux. It's Links. Yeah, I am running a fan. Hold on. Let me fix that a little bit. Okay. You shouldn't be able to hear it anymore. Link says, Jonny, guess where I am? Scotland. Right? Because you were moving to Scotland, right? I would assume that means you're in Scotland. Oh, you're in airport. Okay, so you're almost there. Okay, very good. Hey, have a safe journey. Have a safe trip. All right. Oh, your visa was approved this morning. Very good. I'm really glad to hear that, Links. Hey, probably, how you doing? It's good to see you. You changed your name. Pretty cool. All right, we'll share this live out today. We'll share it to some of these groups I have on there. Oh, thank you for the heart, probably. I appreciate it. Thank you. Glitter says they're here to fuck shit up. Very good. We're always happy to hear that. Thank you, Stormy. Thank you. It's good to see you. It's good to see all of you today. All right, so we got some people in here, about 9 people. So if there's any Christians in the comments who would like to come up and you would like to talk about the prompt, you're more than welcome to come up. We can have a conversation about it. Let's see. Hey, Naz. How you doing? It's good to see you, Naz. Thank you, Adam, for the populars. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we might have a guest. Let's see. Yeah, we might have. I believe so. Jason, are you at least 18 years of age?
Nah.
You're
I'm
not?
12.
Oh, well,
I'm 12.
You don't sound 12. Anyways. If they want to come up and they don't want to actually engage, then oh well, it is what it is, I guess. The Naz, he says, the trolls are out in full force today. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. They are. Hey, Alex, good to see you. Let's see. I missed their comment. Their name is Can. They say, I get why you don't believe in Christianity. I don't either, but you can't deny a cause exists. I can, actually. So I don't have any reason to believe that the universe was caused or that the universe ever began to exist at one point. It would seem to just be based on what a lot of modern cosmology indicates, is that the universe itself is eternal and it has always existed. There have been many surveys about this. Actually, quite a few physicists agree that the universe itself is probably eternal. So, did you see my text on the group? I did not. I'm sorry, Alex. I'll check it after the stream. Then it has God qualities. No. At that point, you're just trying to define things into existence by saying, hey, this thing that just has always existed is God. That's defining a God into existence. That's ridiculous. I mean, you can call the universe whatever you want to call it. If you want to call the universe God, be my guest. I don't care. That's fine, but I won't call it that. It has no consciousness. Not defining things into existence. That's a bad way to phrase it. Okay, you're trying to apply a label to something to make it God when it doesn't have the qualities of God. Drum, are you at least 18 years of age?
Yes.
Drum. So
Yes,
you got some kind of background noise. It's not a lot, but anyway. Drum, are you at least 18 years of age?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
Okay, do you believe that Christianity is true?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what would be your best evidence or argument that Christianity is true?
It's just all right. But before we get to that, are we able to? Am I able to ask you something?
Sure, be my guest.
Okay. So, what about all the other worship artists, kind of like Brandon Lake, Elevation Rhythm. What do you think? What do you think about them and how they create worship music?
Do I think of who?
Brandon Lake and Elevation Rhythm, and
I don't know who these
uh,
people are.
yeah. So that
You said Brandon Lake?
yes.
I've never heard of a Brandon Lake.
So Brandon Lake is a famous worship artist, and so I wanted to know, how do you think those people create worship music without God or Christianity?
Because they believe it exists. But the question is whether Christianity actually exists. People can worship something that they believe exists. For example, in Islam, people worship Allah, and they believe that their prophet Muhammad was essentially a messenger of Allah, right? So, like, they believe that and they worship Allah. The question would be, does Allah exist? The question of Christianity, is not, sorry, not the question is, but within Christianity, Christians believe in Jesus, they believe in the Father, right? And they worship these things that they believe in. The question is, do they exist? Are they worshiping something that actually exists, right?
Yeah,
So, what would be your best evidence or argument that Christianity is actually true?
that's all I have for you. Thanks so much.
Oh, okay. Well, goodbye, Drum. You have a good day. All right. How you doing? It's good to see you, buddy.
What's up, Johnny?
Not much. What are
You
you
doing
doing?
one-on-ones today, or?
I'll have one friendly up, I think, today. Just one today. So that'll be you for now, and until you have something better to do. All right, we'll get Cologne up here. Cologne, are you at least 18 years of age? Hey, Cologne, I have your cousin right here.
Ooh, which one is that one? That one, looks familiar.
I forget what it's called. It's called black suede leather.
I think I've smelled that one before. Actually, it was pretty nice. I cannot lie, some good taste.
That's a good one. All right, Cologne, are you at least 18 years of age?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and what pronouns do you go by?
He or him.
Okay, that'll work. Do you believe that Christianity is true?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, and what would be your best evidence or argument that Christianity is true?
Okay. Well, I guess for just clarifying purposes, so obviously I would assume that you don't believe in any creator.
I don't know.
Okay. So then, would it be all right to maybe start arguing the likelihood of a creator, and then maybe
I think the problem is that even if I believed in a creator, it still would not be your specific religion. So, for example, the Jewish people, right? They believe in Yahweh. They don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. They don't believe that he was, God incarnate. They don't believe any of that stuff about him. They believe, some of them believe he existed as a prophet, but they don't believe that he was anything other than that. And so I could believe in a God of some kind, and it still wouldn't mean Christianity is true. So I think the best way to go about proving that Christianity is true isn't really to go about just trying to demonstrate that a creator exists, because I could believe that a creator exists and it still just wouldn't be your religion. If somebody could demonstrate a creator, I would probably just be a deist. I probably wouldn't be anything holding to another actual religion. It would probably be deism.
Well, I think obviously that ultimately would make it easier, right? Per se. I mean, if we were to at least be able to come to a common ground to be able to say, okay, it's not far fetched to assume that there is a creator of this universe, and then with that being said, we do the digging of, okay, well then, what is the outcomes of, who could this God be, right?
What would the argument be that would establish a mind, like a powerful mind that created the universe?
Okay. I would probably just look into the fact that when if you were to look at what scientists tell us, right? A lot of them would like to say that we started or life started through the process of abiogenesis, from life coming from non-life.
Have you looked into the evidence of that?
I have, yeah, I have.
Okay, very good.
So, but my only contention with that is kind of exactly that, is we don't really have a reason to believe that.
Well, we do.
Right.
We have evidence for it.
Lots of reasons. In fact, we have no competing hypothesis that has as much explanatory power or empirical evidence for it.
So abiogenesis posits that life originated from non-life, from inorganic chemicals, and under the right conditions they eventually formed amino acids and peptides and eventually protocells, which are life. So I think the thing to look at is the evidence for that, right? Well, we know, for example, that they did the Miller-Urey experiment in the 50s. I think it was the 50s, and it might have been the 60s. I'm pretty sure it was the 50s, where under the right conditions, trying to simulate early Earth conditions, they created amino acids, demonstrating that life, that the building blocks for life, amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, can indeed be formed from inorganic process, from an inorganic natural process through inorganic chemicals, that these things can form. So that would be number one. Number two would be like for example, in space, we've actually found amino acids in space. We've actually found
Nucleotides.
nucleotides. Yeah, we found nucleotides in space. We found them on the asteroid Bennu. So we know that the same process that forms amino acids through abiogenesis did not just happen on Earth. We know that it happened other places too. We just don't know. We don't know. We know that there was possibly, very likely actually now, that there was life on Mars at one point. Bacterial life. They found a patch of soil that they believe was essentially a breeding ground of bacteria at one point, millions of years ago. And it essentially preserved now. And so like the idea that life can come from non-life is becoming more and more substantiated every day. They find new things that just further substantiate the theory that life came from non-life. We don't have any other we don't have any competing theories or hypotheses that actually that's not the right word, but that actually have as much evidence or have as much explanation for how life came to be, other than abiogenesis.
Right. Well, I am familiar with the experiment that you were referring to in the 50s, but the only thing that I would have with contention with it is they never considered it to be alive, right? They never were able.
It's because amino acids aren't alive. But it's what we're showing is that the constituent parts that make up life can form naturally.
Yeah, they're the building blocks of life. What the experiment didn't demonstrate that life actually comes from. That's not what it demonstrated. It demonstrated that the building blocks of life can arise through natural processes, which means that it further substantiates the theory that life came from non-life. If the things required for life, at least as we understand it, can be formed through naturalistic processes, that adds to the theory that life came from non-life. That's evidence towards it.
Well, but the whole thing about it though is essentially that the whole claims is that this process happened at the beginning of life, right? But we've never seen it happen
That's
since.
because it's not expected under the hypothesis for us to see it again, because the constituent parts that make up life, like lipids and amino acids and nucleotides, these sorts of things are already being used up by the life that exists. So once you have life, especially as abundant as we have on our Earth, it's not expected under that hypothesis. If the hypothesis is true, what we observe in reality is exactly what we would expect to see, which is the highest standard of explanatory virtue when evaluating whether a hypothesis holds water, right? When you say we don't go out there and see life coming from non-life, that's because we wouldn't expect to.
So why is it not? Why would you say is it not?
I just explained it, because amino acids and nucleotides and lipids, the sorts of things that are constituent of life, are already being used up by life.
Well, no, not essentially that. What I'm trying to get at is why would you say it makes more sense or it's more reasonable to say that life came from non-life when
Because
we see life coming from other life, right? We see that happen every day.
Well,
I feel
yeah,
like
but
it would make
the induction fails when obviously there has to be at some point life coming from non-life. And when we say that it is the best hypothesis, it's because it's the best supported by data. It has the most explanatory scope, explanatory power. It's more parsimonious than a supernatural explanation. It has all of these theoretical virtues, and it's supported by empirics. What would make the hypothesis that a supernatural God created life from non-life the more the preferred hypothesis?
Yeah, so Clone, this is another thing, is that until somebody can demonstrate that the supernatural exists, then the natural explanation that we have evidence for, is going to take precedence, is going to be the more likely explanation, rather than an unsubstantiated claim that there was a supernatural creator behind everything.
casting doubt upon maybe some missing pieces or some reasons to be skeptical about, the current theory or hypothesis regarding abiogenesis. But you haven't provided justifications to believe that your hypothesis is preferred in any way.
Uh, well, like I said, I mean, it's not it's definitely not anything. Like, what's the right word for it? It's not anything objective, right? Like, it's not something that you can look at and be able to say, okay, this is 100% points to God. But it's just, like I said, at least
A reasonable, like, do you have any probability raising evidence that would suggest that God is a likely or even feasible explanation for how life began?
Well, that exactly would be my explanation. Would be the fact that we've only seen actually life come from other living things. So
But that induction fails if what you would expect to see if when you evaluate a hypothesis, you have to evaluate what would you expect to see if that hypothesis were true. That's the predictive scope of the hypothesis.
Yeah.
And our hypothesis, when we go out and look, that's exactly what we'd expect to see. That's what gives hypothesis like predictive power. That's how we know a hypothesis is good. And typically how hypotheses turn into theories over time is if they have predictive power.
Yeah. For example, the Tiktaalik. I don't know if anybody remembers what that is. I'm sure you probably do. The Tiktaalik. One of my favorites actually. The Tiktaalik is essentially in between stage from organisms in the water coming up onto land. From water to terrestrial animals, and it's an in between stage. It has both aquatic features and terrestrial features because it's an in between stage. I forget what they call it. Not in between fossil. They call it something like that, but I forget. A transitional fossil. That's what it is. Yeah, and they actually predicted this thing's existence, and they knew where to find it, and they predicted it, which further added to the theory of evolution when they actually found this thing just by predicting that it was going to exist and where they would find it at, and it was exactly where they said they would find it, and they found it. So theories, are further substantiated when you are able to predict something exists using this theory and using the evidence that supports it.
Well, would you say now? Of course, this is just how this is just how I view it personally, right? But the same way that somebody would put their faith in a creator would be very similar to the way that somebody would put their faith in science.
No. So the difference between for example, you believe in Christianity, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Hebrews 11:1, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things unseen, right? This is just believing in things without evidence. It's the conviction in things that you don't see. It is the belief in things that you can't see, the assurance of things you're hoping for. That's all it is. We don't have that in science. What we have in science is we have evidence, and we look at the evidence that we have, and we say, hey, this is what the evidence is pointing towards, right? And that's how science works, is that we collect data, we collect evidence, and we use that evidence to support our hypotheses. And
science is a methodology that has pragmatic application, right? Like we recognize that the process or the scientific method, for example, is reliable to get some sort of achieved outcome. Now and this is just apparent all the way through history. The phone you're holding in your hand is a byproduct of science. Now, does Christianity or theism have any sort of pragmatic utility with respect to explaining the world around us? Like, have we ever learned something new from the Bible that we didn't, further develop through science or something like that? Is there something novel in the Bible? No.
In fact, when you read the Bible, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sticks. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
Well, I think one of the main reasons, though, as to why the Bible, is typically held very credible is because of the fact that we can just be just focusing on New Testament here for a second. If you followed, for example, because you can't really say the same with other books or with other obviously world leading religions.
What?
Belief books that you could follow Jesus Christ's teachings word for word verbatim, right? His example on how to live a morally correct life.
No, you really can't.
Hear me out. Not saying that like you can do obviously everything that he did, but in the sense of if you were to follow just everything that he said to your best ability, right?
Like the Torah?
You claim that you can follow all of the things he taught, but that's not possible because he taught the Torah, and you can't. A lot of the things in Torah you cannot do anymore.
Not only can't you do them, but you'd be unwilling to do them because they're
Yeah,
morally reprehensible.
a lot of the things in this book you would not want to follow. For example, if we and so in Matthew 5:17 to 19, Jesus affirms the Torah. That's the first 5 books of the Bible. It's, Genesis, Leviticus, Exodus, Deuteronomy, all those, right? Uh, and he affirms the Torah. And the problem with affirming the Torah is that it has all these like really things you would not want to follow. So in Matthew 5:17, he says, let me get to it. Oh, I gotta go back one. He says, hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Do not think that I've come to abolish. He says, do not think that I've come to abolish the law or the prophets. I've come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass away from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great. These are things you really can't do these things. Like, for example, Leviticus 25 says that people can own slaves.
Do you see how you went right back to the Old Testament? You see that?
Because that's what
That's
Jesus
what he's talking about. The law and the prophets.
So can you? So, but are you saying that you don't find anything wrong with Jesus's life, so that you would probably go back to those? Like you can, if you can't give me an example of Jesus's life, trust me, I'm not gonna.
You're talking about his teachings. You said his teachings. Well, he
Yeah,
talked.
yeah. Like what did he say? The words that came out of his mouth.
You just read it.
Do not think that I've come to abolish the law or the prophets. What is the law and the prophets, Cologne?
Oh, so like I said, I'm not afraid to go there. I just want to hear you say it. But I can answer any question that you have about the Old Testament, any commandment that you have questions about. I'll answer.
I don't have any questions.
I've
I've already
read
read
that.
it. But I'm asking you though, like, okay, so in Matthew 5, right, he affirmed the Torah, right? So what is that? That's what is the law and the prophets? He says the law and the prophets. What is the law and the prophets? What is that a reference to?
The commandments given to Moses, right?
Yeah, the 600 commandments that God gave to Moses to give the Israelites. Correct? Yes.
And I just want to take a receipt of how we got here, because Cologne, the reason that you mentioned this, or that the reason that we're on this, is because you said that in terms of pragmatic application of the Bible, you said that, well, if you just live by Jesus's like words, presumably where you're going with this is that you're going to live a righteous, good life. But the reason Jonny brought this up is because not only can't you live by Jesus' words, it's not possible, but you wouldn't want to, because Jesus affirms the law. And Matthew 23 is another great example. He says to do as the Pharisees teach, but not as they do. Pharisees taught the law, right?
Yeah, they did teach the law, of course.
And the prophets too, and a lot of the prophets, like the things in the prophets, are morally reprehensible. In Jeremiah 19:9, God says He's going to make the I think it's the Israelites. He's going to make the Israelites eat their own children in the siege that's coming. That's not good. And Jesus affirmed the Torah and the prophets, law and the prophets.
Well, then I guess that would just lead us to the question of is God to blame if, considering the fact that once he did make creation, he let them know very well. Hold on one second.
But what if he says he's causing something? What if he says he's doing it? Right? Like, I understand. Like, I get it. Like, obviously, if we I personally, I think that a creator is responsible for his creations if he didn't teach them right and all those things.
That's the thing. It's not that he didn't teach them right. If he told them,
hold on. Then I think yes. I think to an extent, the creator. For example, if this was parents, for example, I think parents are responsible for their children to an extent, of course. Obviously, if their child grows up to start doing like really bad, that's not the parents' fault or anything like that, and that's not necessarily. But like when but yeah, I mean, like theoretically, if there was a God that existed and he's just like letting all this stuff happen, then this is not good. But that's not what we're getting. That's not the problem. The problem is that he directly says he's causing these things to happen, right? In Jeremiah 19:9, we'll go to it here. We'll get to Jeremiah here. This is a really horrific one too. Like this is one of the bad ones. 19 verse 9. Let me get to it. Oh, I went too far. There we go. Okay. And I will make this city a whore, sorry, he says, and I will make the city a horror, a thing to be hissed at. Everyone who passes by it will be horrified and will hiss because of all of his disasters. And I will make them eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and all shall eat the flesh of their neighbors in the siege and in the distress with which their enemies and those who seek their life afflict them. So he directly says that there's a siege coming, and that in this siege he's going to make his the Israelites. He's going to make them eat their children and their neighbors. He's going to make them do this.
Yeah, like I said, so before you cut me off, then that leads us to ask the question: if God, when He made creation, He let them know this is what sin is, and this is what the penalty of sin is, so they were already aware what the outcome was and what was going to happen if they do these things. How does that fall into? You can't criticize Him for how He chooses
Yeah,
to.
I actually can. Yeah. Do you think that cannibalism is ever a just punishment for something?
Well, I don't think what they were doing was just. So if they're not doing
That's
just,
not,
why do
that
they
wasn't my
deserve
question.
just?
That wasn't my question. My question was, so somebody commits a crime, right? Okay. When we punish people, for example, in the judicial system, right, when we punish people for the crimes they commit, right, the punishment is always going to be proportionate to the crime they committed, right? I don't think there's a crime that somebody can really commit that warrants them having to eat their sons and their daughters and their neighbors in a war that's coming. I don't think that's ever going to be a just punishment for something somebody did.
Okay, perfect then. So then maybe just to understand your framework, right? If you were God and your creation was giving up their own children to false gods, right? Sacrificing their children for them, knowing obviously what they're doing is a very wrong thing. It's a sin. What do you do?
What did the sons and the daughters do, right?
What did the son? What do you mean?
You think that every single one of these people were guilty? You think all of them were guilty? You think the children were innocent?
Well, it's more of removing evil at the root, right? If you didn't,
That's disgusting. Cologne.
Could he not have like made the women impotent such that they couldn't even bear children, such that they didn't have to unalive them?
Cologne, you're now making apologetics for cannibalism.
No, what you mean? I'm simply begging the question of if they
You want to say that?
if we understood the wages of sin is death. We're told that very very well and clear. Are you gonna? Why are you gonna? Or are we in a position to judge God based on that when He told us? He didn't hide it. He's not, number one, He's not doing it because He gets pleasure from it. Number two, He told
that's not true. Because He does say that He takes delight in the suffering of the wicked, I think He says punishment of the wicked. Yeah.
Yeah, punishing of the wicked, meaning they did things to deserve.
It means he does enjoy it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now, this is the problem, though, is that you're now making apologetics for cannibalism. So, what crime? Tell me, what crime could somebody commit that warrants that they then, as their punishment, they have to eat their own children and also their neighbor? You know, what crime could somebody commit that warrants that they have to eat their children and their neighbors?
Well, you don't even care about kids. If you want me to take this conversation seriously, if you care about kids, condemn abortion right now. Condemn abortion right now.
What a big pivot! And no, because abortion doesn't affect children; it affects fetuses.
That's
and the fetus is in somebody else's body, and that person has right to their body, and they can say, "Hey, fetus, you're not welcome here. Goodbye." I know you might not like that. You may not like that women have a right to their own body because the Bible treats women as if they're property. But in modern day and age, we understand, or at least I understand that women have a right to their own bodies.
Right. So what you're saying is you're fine with 70 million babies every year unalive. Do you know that's more? That's more lives lost than every World War combined.
You do realize that a baby is a human being within the first year of their birth.
So, dude, you have no morals, bro.
Which means
Hold on. We're denying your framing of babies getting. Hold on. We're denying your framing of this. Like, someone could just hold the position that those babies were just ceasing them to exist. Like, it's not that we're killing them, right? It's that they're not.
So you're rationalizing unaliving babies now? That's what we're
You're
doing?
begging the question now. Now you're begging the question against our definition of what it means to be a baby.
No. I'm using the same argument.
Cologne, you're gonna be muted now, Cologne. So, Cologne, nobody here is making trying to justify killing babies. Nobody here is killing babies. Abortion doesn't kill a baby. It terminates the life of a fetus. This is not a baby. And again, the fetus does not have the right to be in somebody's body without their permission. I'm not going to let you you pivot to abortion just because you're losing on the Bible. I'm not going to let you do that. Okay.
No,
If you don't,
you're claiming you have the moral authority, so I'm saying, okay,
I
condemn.
have moral
And you said
authority
you
to
clearly
say,
you
okay,
care
or,
about
okay,
children. You
so
said you cared
again,
about
so
children.
Cologne, you're muted again. So Cologne, in an abortion, after an abortion, the fetus is not eaten, right? That's not a thing that happens. That's ridiculous. I'm giving you direct evidence from the Bible that your God, the God you believe in, told these people that their punishment would be eating their sons and their daughters. And your only fix for this is you like abortion. You're okay with abortion. That means you're something wrong with you.
Quite literally, you are justifying the
No, I'm not
unaliving
though.
of babies by the
Again, so
masses.
I've already explained to you the difference between a fetus and a baby. So now you're just being dishonest.
You're just strawmanning the position, Clone.
It is
You're
a
straw
human life.
man. Is all you
No,
do.
you're
So
just simply.
Cologne, I'm going to give you one last chance to actually get back on the topic here, and
So
if
you
not,
concede. Just admit you concede. We can get right back to it if you admit you
I'm not
concede. I
conceding.
promise.
I'm not
Clone, admit
conceding.
you strawman the position. Actually, just to make a point here, can you just reiterate the point we made?
Yeah, can you, Cologne? Can you actually like give us back anything that we've said this entire time?
Called a
Can
steel
you?
man. Just
Yeah,
steel man the position.
steelman our position. Can you actually essentially give our argument back to us? Can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, you were just saying what under what circumstances was that okay for God to command them to do that? And
That's not at all what was said.
so what you just ask?
When you said that we're killing babies, what was our response? What was Johnny's response?
You said that they're not considered babies.
Yep.
Right. So when you say you're just condoning killing babies, is that not a straw man of the position?
It is a human life.
Position, that's not ours. So when you commit us to the same commitments you have, that's a straw man of our position. You're begging the question.
No, I'm just simply showing you that what
But
you're doing
again,
is
you're
it's
just-
of a coward. You
you're just-
can't hold a standard on one thing.
Make me muted. So you're just plainly wrong, Clone, is the problem. So, Clone, I've already
There you
explained
go.
this
Back
to
to the.
you.
You can't even let me finish.
Here we go. So, Clone, I've already explained to you that you were just blatantly wrong. Okay. So, in an abortion, there are no babies that are killed at all. And it's a crazy pivot to go from, hey, the Bible God does these things, but you can't say any different just because you're okay with an abortion. Yeah, I'm okay with a woman's right to choose, what's right for her own body. That's what I'm okay with. I'm perfectly okay with that. I think that women have bodily autonomy. I think that we all have bodily autonomy. I don't think that another person, even if you want to call it a person, I don't think that a person has the right to be inside of another person without their consent. So, Clone, this is going to be your last chance to get back on the topic, or I'll just drop you and I'll move on to somebody else. He's getting roasted on everything today. He's getting roasted on a god in general. He's getting roasted on the Bible. He's getting roasted
You're justifying the unalivement of babies, my friend. You do know that, right?
All right, Clone.
Well, sorry that you're incapable of tracking, Clone.
Yeah, it's terrible that you're not capable of tracking. Clone, I'll tell
is
you
this
what.
a real-
Clone, I'll tell you what. I'm nice. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes, uninterrupted, to say whatever you want to say. You can say whatever the hell you want to say. That's fine with me. 2 minutes. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. Well, yeah, no, I just find it.
Oh no, my finger slipped. Damn. If only my
Every time.
hadn't been right there. It is always funny.
Every time.
That's a crazy pivot, though. It's a crazy pivot from number one, he was making cannibalism apologetics there for a minute. It's pretty messed up. And then he has to pivot to, hey, you're okay with abortion? Yes, I am perfectly okay with a woman's right to choose what's right for her body. I am. Mm-hmm. There's no babies being killed at all.
In order to make that moral argument, he was required to strawman the position.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, maybe we'll see if we have another guest, maybe. We'll try to get Mr. Biscuits in here. Oh, their request was canceled. Okay, no worries. We'll do maybe this one. No? Okay. All right, well, we'll just wait a few minutes and see if we can get another guest up in here, maybe.
Cologne is just a walking theistic bumper sticker down there in the comments.
That's fine.
Fit today. I can't read it back. Is that Jaws?
Yeah, it's Jaws. It's Jaws shirt. Yeah.
You have to do the fit like what's his name? The Mormon scholar. Fit check guy. what's his name? The Mormon scholar. You know what I'm talking about.
Talking about Dan McClellan?
Yeah, McClellan. He always does a fit check at the start of his video.
Oh, okay, fit check. I should look at more Dan McClellan stuff. I don't really look at a lot of his stuff. I should look at more. I should, because he's a really he's very knowledgeable on the Bible and things. I really should look into more of his stuff.
Yeah, I think he's great. He's especially great for someone who's kind of diving into this stuff for the first time. He's concise and yeah.
And he from what I have seen, is he explains things in such a way that literally anybody can understand it. Like, he doesn't use like all these like, big convoluted terms that people may not fully understand. He actually breaks it down. He breaks it down in a way that you can understand it. He still uses big words, but he puts it into a way where even beginners into biblical scholarship who don't understand the terms can just follow along and understand what he's saying. I think that's really cool.
It's an interesting litmus test, Dan McClellan, because Christians theists will often claim that their scholars are not dogmatic, that they are unbiased in the things they espouse. But then they claim he's dogmatic whenever he makes a video that is in contradiction to what they believe. So they're just.
Hey, probably, what's up? Probably just for an understanding. Like, I want to make sure everybody knows this, right? This specific stream is going to be going up on YouTube. I'm going to start uploading the entire streams to YouTube. So I just want to make sure be careful what you say. I don't want, if you don't want something out there on the internet, don't say it.
I was trying to think of something ridiculous to say, but I've got nothing. You put me on the spot. So this is wild. This guy keeps saying I'm putting words in his mouth when he literally said cannibalism was a just punishment from a just God before he pivoted. Yeah, he couldn't say it was wrong.
Yeah, he couldn't say it was wrong. He didn't say it was wrong. That's what I was asking him. I was asking him, okay, is it a just punishment? And he couldn't get to that part. He couldn't say yes or no. He just couldn't get to that part. Like, it seemed like he was clearly agreeing with it, like the fact that God did this according to the book, but he couldn't say it because he knows how bad that would sound, that he couldn't actually come out and say it. So yeah.
Sad. Can't even stand behind your own God.
Yeah. Lukewarm Christian. Anyways, thank you, Carrot, for the heart. I appreciate it. Thank you. Comeback Kid asks, how can Christianity be false if it exists? Well, because the teachings and the narrative of Christianity are false. I agree that Christianity is a real religion, but the teachings and the narrative of the story is just not true. Yeah. The claims of Christianity are not true is probably a better way to put that. Yeah. So yeah, we'll give it just a few minutes, and we might have to we may do a restart, maybe, possibly. Elise says, you've been graced by Elise, now she leaves you wanting more. Hey Elise, it's good to see you, as always. Bye Elise, I'll see you later. Hope you have a good one. Oh, Adam says, Jonny, Psalm 110, what's the order of Melchizedek part about how does it apply to David? Yeah, okay. So King Melchizedek was the king of Salem. He was both the king and the high priest of the Most High. So the idea behind David being referred to as a king forever according to the order of Melchizedek is because David has both a king role and priest roles. Because in 2 Samuel 6, he's making the burnt offerings, and he's got the linen ephod on. He's got the priest clothing on, and he's making sacrifices. He's doing the things that the priests do. So just like Melchizedek was a king and a priest, David had both king roles and a priest. He had both a king role and a priest role. It's pretty interesting, actually.
I finally heard someone present a king claim that I could accept from Jesus. He's king of the gullible. That was from someone in the chat. I can't claim it, but
right. No, I know David wasn't a Levite. You're right, Adam. He wasn't. and yet he still did the priest things. He still did things that a priest was supposed to do, just like how King Melchizedek was a king and a priest. David didn't have to be a Levite to do both. Carlos Jr. asks, how is Christianity wrong? Because Jesus fulfilled 0 prophecies about the Messiah, even though one of the foundational claims is that he was the Messiah, but he didn't fulfill any of the prophecies he was supposed to. We have no evidence that he resurrected, no more for his resurrection than we do that Aristeus resurrected. Yeah, essentially, he was a priest of Melchizedek. That's what that means. Yeah. Also, you say the teachings are false. Jesus is the Messiah. No, he isn't. So, Hannah, you're welcome to come on up, and we could talk about it. And you can try to present me a prophecy about the Messiah that you think he might have fulfilled. Thank you, Matter. I appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Oh, speaking of people who don't know what messianic prophecies are, it is wild to me the people who will fucking quote like Revelations as like prophecies of Jesus.
Yeah, especially when Revelations, like, what's supposed to happen during the 1st century. It's clear if you read the Gospels that Jesus' second coming was supposed to be within the 1st century, and it just didn't happen. And so Revelation is essentially a failed prophetic book. And a lot of the supposed prophecies of Revelation are very vague, very vague predictions about things that were already happening in that time anyway. So, like, they're not really novel.
Using the Old Testament to attack Christianity is as bad as Christians using it to push verses. So like that's an interesting claim, but like, so you're saying it's not part of the religion? Because that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, Comeback Kid. That's where the prophecies are. So I can use the Old Testament. I'm not attacking Christianity at all. I'm just simply demonstrating that Christianity isn't true. That's all I'm doing. I'm just demonstrating that it's not true using the book itself. So I'm doing an internal critique of the book, the Bible, right? The Bible makes claims. In the New Testament, makes a claim that Jesus did these things, that he was the Messiah, right? So then I can go to the Old Testament where the prophecies about the Messiah are, and I can say, hey, wait a minute, these don't line up. Jesus couldn't be the Messiah because of these reasons, right? And yeah, Lazy River, he says, they say, it was supposed to be in his disciples' lifetimes. Yep. If you read Matthew 16, 27 to 28, he makes the claim that his second coming will be before some of his disciples die. Let's see. Oh. Let me just type this real quick. Let me see. There we go. Okay. Hey, thank you, Cuddle, for the roses. I appreciate it. So we'll wait and see if we can get another Christian up in here. Maybe we can. TikTok's been slow lately. Like, the debates have been slow for some reason. Not a lot of guests, apparently. Apparently it's a problem that a lot of people are experiencing, where there's just not a lot of guests. Oh, let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I'm really confused because it says that you're in the guest box, probably. But you're not in the guest box, you're up here. Unless you're omnipresent and you can be in two places at once. Interesting. Very, very neat. Why did you not tell me about this superpower sooner, probably? Oh, he's busy. He probably didn't hear my joke. But we can, if you would like to, we can go over someone in because Adam. I don't know. I was gonna say David. I don't know why I was gonna say David. Adam, we can go over Psalm 110 if you would like to, real quick. I like Psalm 110. It's a fun one. And then maybe by the time I've explained it, there'll be more Christians up here. Jonny, you better come watch me and Noel walk, dance, and Casey on morality. I would love to. I would love to come do that. I'll come watch y'all later if I'm done streaming. And it's still going. I'll be there. Yeah. Says oh, I gotta go back one. Well, so Adam, like on Melchizedek, right? Melchizedek was a priest king, right? And David does things that priests do, right? That's he does that in 2 Samuel 6. He does things that the priests normally do, but he does them. He even wears the priest's attire, the linen ephod. So it's clear that the reason they say that he's a king forever, according to the word of Melchizedek, is specifically because he has both a king role and a priest role, right? That's really all it's getting at. So, Broken says, "I'd love to see you and KC debate. He makes silly ass claims." Well, you're welcome to always tell him to come up here and we can have a conversation. I'll be nice. Priest King, and what a cool title. Actually, yeah, Priest King. Priest King is a badass title. It is. Oh, probably. Are you there? KTM. Okay, he's probably busy. That's okay. Unless he actually is in my box, and no, okay. Because I know TikTok does this really weird thing sometimes, where like a person will have left, but then it'll still say they're up on the panel. It does that sometimes. It's really strange. He's probably just busy. All right, we have a guest. Her name is 62. 62. Are you at least 18 years of age? Oh, it's still loading in. Six two. I don't know if your Wi-Fi is not working or if TikTok's glitched, but it's not letting you load in. Well, while we wait for our guest, thank you all, everyone in the comments who has donated, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you all here, so thank you. I appreciate the support. Okay, well, 6. I don't know. Thank you, Ari. I appreciate the heart. I do not know why it's not letting you up, 6. But 6, listen, 6. I'm gonna drop you. I mean, I don't have to. Your connection timed out. Come back in a minute, and maybe your Wi-Fi will be working. Thank you, Ari. Or maybe TikTok will stop glitching, or whatever the problem is, it'll be fixed. Maybe. I think we'll bring up. Well, never mind. They're not here anymore. Okay. The live is glitchy. They are sometimes. I don't know why. Let's see. We'll bring. Oh no. Nobody in the box right now. What's the prompt say? Top half is covered. Oh, the prompt says Christianity is false. Prove me wrong. I know for some people it is covered. For me, it's not. But for some people, it is covered. I've noticed that. I've noticed people saying that they can't see it very well. But most people say they can see it, but some people say they can't see it, so. But my claim is that Christianity is false, and my evidence for this claim is that Jesus, didn't fulfill any prophecies about the Messiah. We have no evidence that he rose from the dead. We don't have any eyewitness accounts of this person. So yeah, we have no evidence that Jesus was divine, or that he rose from the dead, or that he was the Messiah. We have no evidence of any of these things. So that would be my claim, is that Christianity is false, is because of those reasons. So. Yeah. Glitter says, how does Jesus love you when he said he came for the house of Israel? That is true. In Mark 7, he says that he came only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Ooh, my chat stopped moving. Oh, I thought we had a guest, but they're not here anymore, I don't think. Let's see. Sorry, Matthew 15, not Mark 7. Matthew 15, he says he came only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Because Matthew 15 is like the expanded version of that story. That's right. Yeah, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yeah, Matthew 15, not Mark 7. Sorry, my bad. What is the evidence for the claim that Christianity is false? Sure, Jesus was not the Messiah. He fulfilled exactly 0 prophecies about the Messiah. We have no evidence that he rose from the dead. No more evidence that he rose from the dead than we have that Aristeas rose from the dead. So those would be like my criteria for why Christianity is false, is because the foundational claims of the religion are just demonstrably untrue.
Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't really.
Shocker.
I mean, you missed some stuff.
Sorry, I had to take care of shit for work.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Good stuff. Videos. Call up and you can come up with talk about it.
So if you got a moment where we're not taking guests, I want I want to pick your brain some more.
Okay, sure.
So I was talking with. Do you know who Catholic Thinker is by chance?
I do not think I do know.
He's a pretty good faith Catholic debater, and he's more into like theology and whatnot.
Right.
But I decided to like kind of pick his brain about the argument that I was going over with you the other day.
Yeah.
And his take on it seems to be like you can't necessarily just pick and choose like different verses and expect them to be like related to each other, which I kind of disagree with. Like it seems like if the Bible were univocal, we shouldn't be able to pick it apart so easily. But if given the case that a lot of Christians do take it as weirdly univocal and not univocal at the same time. Like, what's your take on cause like clearly like Ezekiel may or may not have anything to do with like the words of Paul or Jesus himself. Like, what's your take on that?
My take would be that the book is not univocal, but there are certainly cross references, and I mean, there's also a lot of contradictions and things too. But like, no, it's not univocal, of course not. But that doesn't mean what was what was he talking about though when he says that about the argument?
Well, I'm going to send him my full document tonight since I didn't do it last night.
Okay.
But basically, it was saying that like Ezekiel's not necessarily like has anything to do with like what Paul was saying as far as like the redemptive power, the restorative justice of Jesus, or however he phrased it.
Yeah.
But also he's going to have he's not going to accept the argument anyways because he's not sola scriptura.
Of course. Which I mean, hey, that's not the worst position, but. All right,
I mean, it's not the worst, but
yeah, it's not. Like sola scriptura, like because me personally, I believe that some of the like, for example, the Apocrypha. I think the Apocrypha, at least some of it, should be taken as canon. I know a lot of people disagree with that, so I agree in not being 100% sola scriptura. But I think it's important to like look at the book and see what it says. Like look at the scripture and see what it says, and then you can also at the same time decide like, hey, what parts of these are actually like going to be true, and match up with what the book says versus what parts don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and like I've always had the idea that like it's so bizarre to me that like God would understand like that this is the only like communication he's going to have with his entire species just about. So like it doesn't make sense that he would tell like one society something and then make it, oh well, later this actually isn't going to apply, but I'm not going to update the rules for you at all. So good luck. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like I think God, like an all-powerful God, he would be better at communication than that. Because like we're good at communication and we would do better than that.
Yeah.
So like I would expect God to be like even better. Like God wouldn't be able to be misunderstood.
No, I agree. Yeah. Thank you for the cake. I mean, thank you for the cake. I said thank you for the cake, and then I tried to stop myself because your name is Cake, but then I was like, oh wait, no, it isn't. You did send a cake slice. Thank you.
Cake against the machine.
Jesus loves. I am not blatantly and willingly ignorant. I've studied this book extensively. That's why I know that it's not true. That's why I know that Jesus was not the Messiah. He fulfilled no prophecies about the Messiah. And that's why I can demonstrate it. So, Jesus, if you would like to come up and you want to have a conversation, you're more than welcome to come up. We're going to have a nice conversation about this. But what version do I read? Well, I refer to the NRSVUE from the New Oxford, but I also am learning to read Hebrew now. So there are times where I might go to the original language to show you what it actually says. So I can even show you some of what the original language says.
Don't see Jesus from your book and buy it. What?
I don't know. The comments are something else today. Well, Jesus, I haven't failed in anything. I can demonstrate that the narrative isn't true. So if you want to come up, you're more than welcome to come up and have a conversation about it. But being a keyboard warrior is not going to help you any. Just being in the comments typing away is not going to help you any.
Until Johnny stops. Until Johnny stops me, either request up or shut up.
So, Jesus, here's the deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you in the comments. That way, if you want to talk to me, you have to come up here and do it. I don't want to be like that, but yeah. I can't have you in the comments making a bunch of false claims. So, yeah. Alright, we have a guest. King, are you at least 18 years of age? Hi, King, are you at least 18 years of age?
Yes, I'm way over 18, sadly.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Pronouns, what are those?
Oh, pronouns are words we use in sentences to replace nouns to avoid repetition. So these pronouns would typically be like he, him, she, her, they, them. Which ones do you go by?
Well, I'm he, if
Oh,
someone's
very
referring to me, or him,
Yeah, very good. That'll work.
me.
Okay, do you believe
Yeah.
that Christianity is true?
Yes.
Okay, and what would be your best evidence or argument that Christianity is true?
I think that's it's not something that you can prove to another human being.
Oh,
Hey.
then I guess we don't really have anything to talk about then.
No, I think so. It's like if you believe that it's not true, hey, you can't prove to me that it's not true.
Oh, I can actually, yeah. So, what are the three? We'll say there's three. There's actually a little bit more than that. But what's like the three foundational claims of Christianity? Do you know?
Um,
There's a lot
about
of claims,
Jesus.
but there's like three
Hey.
main foundational claims. Do you know what they are?
Oh, that Jesus helped me when I was in trouble.
Nope. So I'll help you. So one of the foundational claims, for example, is that Jesus was the Messiah and he came to fulfill prophecies from the Old Testament. The second claim would be that he rose from the dead. Well, sorry, the second claim would be that he died for your sins being crucified. The third claim would be that he rose from the dead on the third day. So when it comes to, for example, Jesus being the Messiah and one of the foundational claims of the religion, this claim is actually demonstrably false because he fulfilled exactly 0 prophecies about the Messiah, not one.
Oh yeah. No, I might have to agree with you on that. My thoughts on all of that is, when I've been in trouble, he's helped me.
Oh, well, I know that you think your belief has helped you, but Muslims would say the same thing about Allah. They would say that Allah helped them.
Yeah, no, so that's why I don't talk about Muslims,
Okay, but
or
like,
Buddhists.
what
Hey,
I'm getting at is
I let them argue. I let them argue their own argument. Those are arguments of men.
what
All
I'm
I'm
getting at
referring
is
to.
that you believing in something helped you doesn't mean it actually did. Because Muslims also believe that their God helped you, and their God is contradictory to yours.
No. What I'm saying is their belief is contradictory to mine.
So
But
their
but
God.
I don't necessarily believe Jesus came from the Messiah and he came on the cross and he was come again. But what I do know is, when I've been down and out and I've called on Jesus, he's
Do
helped
you
me.
believe that Jesus
And
died and rose from the dead?
well, I don't know too much about that, but I know that he helped me
King,
when I was in trouble.
Unfortunately, King, it seems like you may not be that prepared for this conversation, so we're just going to move on to the next guest. But thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
So I was talking to. Oh, we have another guy.
Well, you can go ahead real quick. It's fine.
No, I was talking to a guy last night who only believes in the Gospels, not the writings of Paul, not the Old Testament. And I was trying to squeeze out of him, like, if that's all you read and believe, like, why believe? Like, do you just read the book and just assume it's true? You don't look into like what made Jesus like this special person? And he was just like, nope, I just read the book, the Gospels, and I believe it. And I was just like, I can't fathom that.
I've met a few people
It's
like
wild.
that. I have. Godfrey, are you at least 18 years of age? Godfrey? I know you're there. I can hear your something happening to my microphone. Godfrey, are you at least 18 years of age? Godfrey, if you don't answer me within the next like 2 seconds, I'm gonna have to drop you and move on, unfortunately. Godfrey, thanks for coming up. You have a fantastic day, though. Oh, Godfrey, are you there? Thought I heard a voice. Okay, Godfrey, thanks for coming up, but we're gonna move on to the next guest. Oh well, we don't have a guest. I thought we had one in the box, but they're not there anymore. Oh well.
Hold on a second. Jesus created man, knowing right from wrong, light from darkness, but man chose darkness wrong.
Jesus didn't create man at all. Yahweh created man. According to the narrative, anyway. I don't believe that nonsense, but according to the narrative, it was Yahweh who created man and woman, not Jesus.
But yeah, so like the Gospels only guy was it was interesting. Like having a conversation with him. He's like, "Oh, I don't understand any of these books." Like having to only read from the Gospels was an interesting experience.
Yeah, it is. So, hey, Lathe, it's good to see you. How you doing? Thank you for the heart, Lathe. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, good afternoon, Lydia. Thank you. Hey, Lathe, thank you for the Go Populars. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Lydia. I'm doing well, too. Thank you for asking.
Oh, it is so fucking hot out today. I'm so glad I'm done with work.
Yeah, it was actually very hot today. So I was at work today. Oh my goodness, it was just so hot in that room because we don't have air.
There's humid. You don't have air conditioning?
So something's wrong with our air, like our HVAC system. Something's going on with it where only like the front and the break rooms and stuff will have air. The back room doesn't have a lot of air. We just have fans
Oof.
going on, but the fans were not enough back there today. So,
No, especially if it's humid. Holy fuck.
yeah, it was
I at least don't have to deal with humidity here.
right because you live in a very dry place.
Fuck yeah, so when I sweat it does something.
Yeah. Oh no, Lathe, I'm sorry to hear that you're sick. I hope you feel better soon.
So, Lace, we don't have AC. Like, technically, like, most houses don't have AC where I live. It's just swamp coolers. Like, I'm happy that my work truck has good AC. It's sitting at 40 degrees right now on my truck.
Right.
You'd rather it be humid? Oh my god, there's something wrong with you.
But yeah, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. I'll be at work tomorrow for like 3 hours though, so I'll be fine.
Fuck, every day, 8 hours in the sun. It's beautiful.
I'll work 8 hours today. I won't have to tomorrow. So.
Dude, for being as pale white as I am, I'm starting to get a nice tan. Like, I'm starting to look like my ancestors. It's pretty dope.
Right.
I didn't know I could turn this color brown.
You getting a tan on you? I will be going to the beach.
Yeah. Oh, Lace, you want to hear a fun story? So, I visit. Sorry, Johnny.
What? Oh yeah, there's a delay. I guess that's okay. I'll be going to the beach September, like the 4th to the 7th. I'll be going on vacation to the beach, and so yeah, that'll be fun.
Late. So like fun story about ovens. Speaking of, so like I've walked up behind like I've gone onto a Chinook that was running, and like you get rotor wash and the jet engine wash. You come off of the when you're loading on the Chinooks because you walk up right through the jet wash, right? So like I know what that feels like. Well, there was one time when I first went to Q8. I got off the jet engine. We walked across the tarmac, and I as soon as I stepped out of the plane, like just immediately like felt like you were stepping into an oven, like just strong wind. And I was like, oh, that's just a jet wash, not a big deal. Like, as soon as we get away from the plane, it'll be better, right? Yeah, as soon as we walked away from the plane and that wind was still there, like baking me, I realized that that's just how Q8 is, and like life was about to suck ass.
Right. Oh, we have a guest. Dogi, are you at least 18 years of age?
Yep.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
Okay, do you believe that Christianity is true? Oh, dog eyes. Sorry, dog eyes. Do you
I'm
believe
so,
that Christianity is true?
yeah.
Okay, what would be your best evidence or argument that Christianity is true?
I didn't know there was supposed to be evidence.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how we would find out whether something is true or not, is whether there's evidence for it.
Was Jesus a real person?
Maybe. I don't care. But, there's a lot of real people of
Was
mythology.
Jesus Jesus of Nazareth a real person?
Maybe, I don't know. We don't really have any good reason to think that, but I'm not a mythicist. I'm sure there probably was a person named that. But I don't believe he was magic. I don't believe he was anything other than just a man who was teaching people things. Because when you look at the book and it makes claims about him being the Messiah, for example, he failed the criteria for that, which means he couldn't have been. It means they were wrong, which means that Christianity is not true. Okay, that's a it was a very I guess he realized he was outmatched. Maybe, I don't know. Makes sense. Anyways, A and F, are you at least 18 years of age? A and F, are you at least 18 years of age? While A and F is, I guess, I don't know what they're doing, but while they're taking a moment, I would like to take a moment to thank everybody for being here. Thank you all for the likes, shares, and the gifts. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support you guys give me. So thank you all for being here. A and F, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? There's a little button at the bottom of the screen, looks like a microphone. Just press it.
I sent him an invite to unmute, so
I wonder. I'll give them a moment, and if it doesn't work, then we'll just move on to somebody else, I guess. To a new guest.
someone in the Lath in the comments has a good point. Like, why did you stop wearing your Hawaiian shirts, Johnny?
I guess they're not clean right now. I'm gonna buy a bunch more here pretty soon, I think. I just bought a new one for the beach. It's got flowers on it. Okay, well, A and F. I'm gonna move on to the next guest. Yeah. Oh well, we don't have any other guests. Okay, well I thought we did. People sometimes join the box and then they leave the box. Let's see. Oh, A and F says, "Man, I'm sorry, but am helping someone." Okay, no problem, no problem. Come back up in just a moment. That's fine. All good. I just didn't know if like your microphone wasn't working or if you hadn't loaded in all the way. I didn't know what was happening. So, thank you, Queen. I appreciate the heart. Thank you, thank you.
Oh man, that reminds me. I'm so glad I can mute myself sometimes because, man, your guests are funny.
Yeah. All right, we may have a guest. Let's see. Oh, A and F is back. A and F, are you at least 18 years of age?
Yo, how's everyone doing?
Hey, are you at least 18 years of age? I'm doing well. How about you?
What? Can you say that again?
Are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 18.
Okay, and what
Exactly.
and what pronouns do you go by?
He, him?
Okay, do you believe that Christianity is true?
No.
Okay, what brings you up?
I don't know. Thought I would wanna join the talk.
Okay, sure.
Like,
Yes.
you know, like you and that guy, cause of so, like one time I wanted to become a Christian. I look around in the Bible and all that stuff, and I found some questions that doesn't have any answers.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of like really big problems and that don't have a good answer.
Yeah, so until a Christian guest comes up, I'm gonna be on mute. Right?
That's fine with me. Whatever you need to do. Okay. We do have a guest. Her name is Raw Motion. Raw Motion. Are you at least 18 years of age?
Yes.
Okay. And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
Okay. Do you believe that Christianity is true?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what would be your best evidence or argument that Christianity is true? Okay. Well, that's. Hey, I'm convinced. Aren't you all convinced?
Solid argument.
Perfect argument. Just 10 out of 10, everybody.
Where did the guest go? Did I miss something?
He dropped, either intentionally or unintentionally.
Well, what can I say?
Right.
He just ran away like his God did.
So.
Oh man. I think something to talk about in the meantime, but I've got nothing done. My brain is fried for the day. I don't even know if I want to live stream tonight, like on topic.
Hey, if you want to, I'll be there. As soon as I'm done streaming this,
Yeah,
I'll probably.
I will.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. As soon as this is done, I'm gonna go download it.
I missed what you
upload
said.
it.
You said after you get streaming.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's a little
cool.
bit of delay. There's just a little bit of delay. That's
Dude,
okay.
man, I swear. Yeah. Back right now, where like I need to start doing, like I really need to start clipping or like at least just making like videos of myself before I go live, because like my numbers are completely stagnant and like I haven't had a restriction in weeks and I'm not getting like any growth. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like I don't actually like give a crap about like TikTok in like a professional sense, but like I can't have conversations if TikTok's not bringing me people to.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been a little slow lately. I noticed this that for like the past few weeks, pretty much every atheist content creator that I know is having problems where they're saying, hey, there's not really any guests coming up. There's like one or two, maybe three or four at most that come up. And it's just really weird because people used to get so many more, and it's just like now they're down a lot. It's because the algorithm. It's because I think it's TikTok's algorithm is not pushing the atheist creators out like it used to now. So now less and less people are actually seeing the content. That could be what it is.
Fifi in the chat. Why do we care? So we care because people use these very like fake and terrible beliefs to like seek to restrict the rights of other people based on their religious views, and to like act like complete like assholes and then feel good about it at the end of the day. Like people do like really shitty things with their religious beliefs. That's why we care.
Yeah,
If people like just didn't.
Go ahead, you're fine.
I was gonna say, like, if people like kept it in the church and didn't like abuse other human beings because of their religion, I wouldn't give two shits what silly things you believed in.
That's true. Like me personally, if Christians stopped trying to push their beliefs onto other people, and they stopped trying to put it into the government, and they stopped like essentially trying to force people to conform to their worldview, I wouldn't be doing this probably. I would probably just be doing theology videos. I'd probably just be doing videos going over what the book says. I probably wouldn't even be doing like debates. I'd probably just be sitting here saying, "Hey guys, today we're gonna go over this verse," and and we're gonna go over the secular scholarship or know the history of what it's talking about, things like that. I wouldn't be doing debates probably because I have an interest in the book, in scholarship. I have an interest in scholarship and the history of the book and things like that, as well as debating it. If Christians weren't actively out there like pushing their beliefs on people, I probably wouldn't be debating it.
You know what was interesting is I heard
Rico, do you want to go ahead?
you're
So as I said, they can't even have peace with their own Christian fellows. There was like a 30-year war between the Orthodox and the what was the other one? I don't really remember.
With the Catholics.
It was a 30-year-old war, and they're still speaking about, oh, we're the religion of peace. We make peace in the country. Like fucking Hitler was Christian.
He was, yes. Well, he drew inspiration from it. I wouldn't say he himself was actually Christian, but he was influenced by it. He had his own separate system that was inspired by it, and his soldiers certainly were. Now, good. Are you at least 18 years of age? Good stuff. Are you at least
Yes.
18 years of age?
Yes.
What pronouns do you go by?
I'm 56, and all 56 years I've been he, him, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay. Also, Link said he was Johnny. He said so in his book. Okay, well, I did not know that. So apparently, Schittler was a Christian. I did not know that. I thought I knew he was inspired by it. I did not know he actually identified as that. Okay, fair enough. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
good.
There's a classic example of somebody identifying as something that nobody would really believe. Not if you know who Christ is. So anyway.
Are you a Christian?
I agree. Christ tried to identify as the Messiah, and he wasn't. I agree. So
Well, there's
good
no
stuff.
evidence of that claim, though.
Oh, I can demonstrate it very easily.
I don't think so.
So, what would be your best? Okay, so you want to go? Do you want to go over the messianic thing? Then is that what you want to do?
That's fine.
Okay, can you show me one?
Because I haven't really heard what you're going to say. So I'd love to hear it.
So we'll start from the beginning. Matthew 1. In Matthew 1, the author makes the claim that Jesus was born of a virgin, and he claims that this was done to fulfill a prophecy, which is, "Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and she shall call his name and they shall call his name Emmanuel." Right?
Yes.
Problem is that there's not actually a prophecy that says that. It doesn't exist. He's misquoting Isaiah 7. Well, more like there's a mistranslation going on, but we'll get to that. So this prophecy actually comes from Isaiah 7. Do you know what the context of Isaiah 7 is, Good?
Yes, it's Isaiah is a prophet from the Old Testament, and he's laying out in his own time things that are happening then. He's also laying out things that will happen in the future.
Yeah, but specifically what in Isaiah chapter 7, specifically?
Let me pull it up.
That's okay. So there's two kings in Isaiah 7. There's two kings, Rezin and Pekah. Rezin is the king of the Arameans. Pekah is the king of the northern kingdom of Israel. He's the king of Ephraim. Well, these two kings have formed an alliance, and they're going up against the king of Judah, King Ahaz. They attempt to besiege Jerusalem at the beginning of the chapter, but they fail to actually conquer it. And when Ahaz learns that these two kings are against him, he's shaken. So God sends the prophet Isaiah to Ahaz to reassure his faith. And the reassuring of faith comes in the form of prophecies that are about the destruction of the kings. One of these prophecies is in Isaiah 7:14-17. It reads, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son, and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land before whose two kings you are endured will be deserted. The Lord will bring on you and on your people and on your ancestral house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria." The prophecy is there's a young woman who's pregnant, and she's going to give birth to a son, and she's going to call him Emmanuel. This is, in the Hebrew, it's Lakin Yiten Adonai, Hulakim Ot, Hinecha Amachara, Veyoledet Ben, Ve'chalashimo Immanuel. And this is, therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is pregnant, and she will bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel. So the prophecy, there's a young woman who's pregnant. She's going to give birth to a son. She's going to name her son Emmanuel. And then by the time Emmanuel is old enough to know right from wrong, the two kings are going to be defeated by the king of Assyria. Their lands are going to be plundered, and they're going to be defeated. This was a prophecy of a series of events that started in 736 and ended in 732 called the Syro-Ephraimite War, which started with Rezin and Pekah attacking the king of Judah, King Ahaz. Nothing to do with a virgin giving birth at all.
Okay, so where's the evidence in that passage that's not referring to Jesus?
Okay, so what in this passage would be referring to Jesus then?
You're the one that made the claim it wasn't,
Sure.
so you got to
Do you
prove that.
believe that Mary was pregnant for 700 years?
Is that your evidence?
I'm
That's not
asking.
evidence.
I'm asking you. Do you believe that Mary was pregnant for 700 years?
But you've got this claim up, and you're not
But
willing
I'm,
to give
I'm
evidence
asking you a
for it.
question. I'm asking you a question now. Is do you believe that Mary was?
So we're just going
pregnant
to
for
ask. Okay, was Mary pregnant for 700 years? That I'd have to say probably not.
Okay, very good. Then that means that this woman in Isaiah 7.
That's still not evidence for what you claim.
It is, and it's just you're not tracking what I'm saying. So here's the deal. So this is what I'm going to do. Can you steel man anything I've said so far? Good stuff.
Probably, but that's not why I'm here.
Yeah, give my argument back.
I'm here to hear evidence.
I want you to give your argument back to me because I'm not tracking. Okay, so
I think you think.
So good stuff. I'm going to ask you now again to repeat my argument back to me because I'm not sure you understand what it is. Hey, everyone in the comments who heard me say what I said about Isaiah 7, put a 1 in the chat if I made it very simple to understand and you understood what I was talking about. Just put a 1 in the chat. Oh, a lot of 1s. There's already 8 1s, 9 1s, 10 1s in the comments. Damn. My goodness. It's a lot of 1s in the chat. I made it very simple to understand. Good. This is not hard. So good stuff. I need you to unmute yourself. Or actually, I'll even send you an invite to unmute. And I need you to steel man my argument. I need you to repeat my argument back to me.
I mean, it was so simple. I mean, why? Okay, if you need me to do this, I'll do it for you.
Because I don't think you understand what it is.
I'm sure you don't. So your statement is that this prophecy in Matthew, this idea that Jesus fulfilled a prophecy.
No, there's no prophecy in Matthew. The prophecy is in Isaiah 7.
Are you going to let me answer your question or not?
Well, the prophecy is not in Isaiah. The prophecy is not in Matthew.
The prophecy is in Isaiah. Okay, so
Isaiah 7.
Matthew referred to a prophecy.
There you go. Okay.
That's what I was trying to say, but you jumped in too quick. Matthew referred to a prophecy that you're saying was not actually a prophecy.
No,
you're saying
it was a prophecy.
About Wow, this is why you don't have people coming up. You don't let them finish their statement.
It was a prophecy of the Syro-Ephraimite war.
Right. I was going to say you're saying I'm trying to give your position. I think that's what you want.
Go ahead, give back.
So you're saying Matthew used a prophecy from Isaiah to apply to Jesus that did not apply to Jesus.
There you go. Very good. Yep. And did you hear
what part did you think I didn't understand?
And did you hear my evidence for this claim?
There was no evidence. That's
okay.
I keep asking.
So you lie. So you're lying now. Revelation 21 verse 8 says all liars go to the lake of fire. Okay. So again, so in Isaiah 7 verse 14 it says,
"Well, is not evidence."
We're going to go to I'm not giving you a claim. I'm giving you the evidence from the text itself. So it says, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land before whose 2 kings you are in dread will be deserted." How can this be about Jesus when this is about something that's happening in the 730s? How can this be about Jesus? How does Jesus' birth help King Ahaz know that his enemies are going to be defeated within just not that long? How would that help Ahaz? Okay, we'll have to, there we go, send you another invite to me.
It'd be nice if I could answer your question. What was the question again? It was a while back.
Okay, my question was, how can this help Ahaz, right? If your claim is that this is about Jesus' birth, right? If this is about Jesus' birth, how does this help Ahaz know that his enemies are going to be defeated, right? Because it says that the child's going to be born, right? And that by the time he's old enough to know right from wrong, the 2 kings are going to be defeated by the king of Assyria. This was a prophecy of the Syro-Ephraimite war, right? So how is this about Jesus then? How does Jesus being born 700 years later help King Ahaz, the king of Judah, know that his enemies are going to be defeated in just a few years?
I'm not sure it was written to help Ahaz. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask.
We'll read it again. So
I mean,
what's the context?
I know the story. I'm just saying.
Okay, so the context of Isaiah 7 again is that there are 2 kings attacking Ahaz, Rezin and Bakah. They're going against the king of Judah, King Ahaz, right? Well, Ahaz needs help. So God gives him a prophecy from Isaiah, and the prophecy is that there's a young woman who is pregnant, and he's talking to Isaiah, right? And he says that by the time this child, the young woman's going to give birth to a son, and that by the time her son is old enough to know right from wrong, Reason and Pekah, the two kings that he's in dread of, will be defeated. Their lands will be deserted. How is this not about Ahaz? How is this not to Ahaz? I don't think you're tracking this. Good. Okay, everybody else in the comments, put a 1 in the chat if I broke that down very easy for you to understand. I really don't think he's
keep
tracking.
muting me, and then you wonder why. Okay, so I never said that it doesn't have anything to do with Ahaz. I did not say it did not have a prophecy to do with Ahaz.
You literally just said that you don't think this is to Ahaz, but I just showed you that it is.
No, I did not, man.
You did.
So
this is on recording. It's going up.
And when you go back and read, you listen to it, you're going to go, "Oh,
I know." I know. You said you're not sure this is about Ahaz or to Ahaz.
No,
you said you're not sure.
I'm not sure. Can I tell you what I
Everybody
said?
put a 1 in the comments if you heard him say that he was not sure this was to Ahaz.
$100 I didn't say it.
I'll give you. I'm not going to bet that much. I'll give you $100 if you didn't say it. $100 if you didn't say it.
No,
you want make a bet? Make a bet with me. Make a bet. Make a bet. I don't have a chair. I don't have a favorite chair. Make a bet with me. Go ahead. Come on, $100. $100 that you did say it.
I'll tell you
Everybody
what
in the
said.
comments is saying you said it. Because
I'll
we
take
all heard
$100 from everybody in the room. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll take
But here's
$100.
the thing.
No problem. I'll be expecting
That's a side thing. Here's the thing. I believe that was a prophecy about Ahaz. You asked what good does it do for him to prophesy about Jesus for Ahaz? I said I don't see what the point is of asking that, because I don't think the prophecy to Ahaz did not depend on Jesus being a fulfillment of the prophecy for it to benefit Ahaz. It was going to benefit Ahaz.
But how is he a fulfillment, though, is what I'm asking you, okay? Because if this is a prophecy about the Syro-Ephraimite war, how is this about Jesus?
Okay, because who says it has to be about one thing? Where's the proof of that?
So then what would your evidence be of a dual fulfillment? And why should I accept the idea of a dual fulfillment that's out of context?
Well, if it's a prophecy, the context is kind of strange anyway, because most people wouldn't even believe that the prophecy of Ahaz time was a real prophecy.
Well,
you know
it wasn't. The earliest records we have are like 200 years after. The oldest manuscripts we have are like 200 years after the event happened anyways, but it is a prophetic literature of something that had already happened, but it's a prophetic literature. So what evidence would you have that there's a dual fulfillment? And side question is, why should we accept the idea of a dual fulfillment when the prophecy is out of context, right? Because if something's out of context, we can make it about anything.
Well, not really, but I mean, some people I'm sure would try.
Because in verse 14, right, it says, "Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son, and she shall name him Emmanuel." Well, a lot of people were named Emmanuel, and they were born of young women. This could be about a lot of people, right? So how's that going to be a prophecy?
Well, because and of course, if you don't believe the Bible, it's not going to make any sense to you. But if you believe the Bible, it makes sense if you look at it this way: that there were plenty of things in the Old Testament that God used to point to the Messiah. In fact, He's been doing that ever since the Garden of Eden. The fact that God would take natural and normal situations and extrapolate that into the Messiah that would come, it's like He was giving screenshots along the way of what was going to happen in the future.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to convince you it's right. I'm just saying that as far as the belief system goes, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, but why should we think
you guys believe whatever you want? You just don't read the book.
You haven't read the book, yeah, because the Messiah is very clearly outlined. Would you like to hear a real prophecy about the Messiah? I can show you a real prophecy about the Messiah that I know Jesus didn't do.
I mean, I don't think it's going to matter what I say.
Well, because you're just demonstrably wrong, buddy.
No. There were
plenty of things. You disagree with the Word of God.
You disagree with the book. You don't disagree with me. You disagree with the prophecies. You don't disagree with me. You disagree with the prophecies.
No, I don't.
You do that.
I just explained to you from a Christian point of view. There were snapshots in the Old Testament of what the Messiah would be like. I don't know if you've ever read the
Isaiah 7 verse 14. Good. How is Isaiah 7 verse 14 a snapshot of the Messiah? Tell me, how is it? Go ahead. Go ahead, tell me how Isaiah 7 is a snapshot of the Messiah.
You muted again. Okay.
I muted you because I don't want you to dish gallop. I want you to just answer my question. Answer my question. Oh, man, he got raptured, of course. Okay, well, makes sense.
Well, if you use bias, it obviously says what we wanted to say.
I mean, this is just extremely dishonest to just be like, hey, I'm not sure that's about. And he did say that, by the way. He said, I'm not sure that's two Ahaz. And I'm like, are you sure about that?
It's so ridiculous. And here's the thing, like, the dual fulfillment thing is bullshit. Like, I've ridden a donkey. I'll ride into Jerusalem and do the rest of the Messiah stuff in my second full coming. Don't worry about it. Just trust me.
Yeah, Christians misapply dual fulfillment because they think that it just means, hey, when one thing looks similar to another, that must be a dual fulfillment, but that's not actually what that means. Dual fulfillment means that a prophecy can have two fulfillments within the same context. It doesn't mean you can just cherry pick and say, yeah, look, dual fulfillment. It doesn't work that way. They always misapply dual fulfillment. All right, I'll see you later, A&F. You have a good day. All right, see you, buddy. I'm actually going to be hopping off as well. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and be hopping off myself.
Yep. Right. I'll send you an invite later, and if you want to join, cool. If not, you do you, boo. I'll be around.
All right, I would like to thank everybody for being here. Thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and I'll